Well, good morning, everyone. It's day 7 of my quarantine, and I'm not enjoying it that much today. I thought a good subject would be patience, as it's one of my strengths. I had just said strongholds, and my wife started laughing, so I had to shut it off. If you think patience is one of my strengths, you don't know me very well. I was reminded today from Melanie of the time we were returning from Zambia, going back to home in South Africa, and we got to the Zambian border where you cross the Zambezi River by ferry into Botswana. And after driving a lot of hours, we got finally through the border, and now we're waiting for the ferry. And of course, there's supposed to be 2 ferries crossing simultaneously, and there was only one. And so we are sitting there for many hours, and someone in the customs decided they would try to make the old ferry work again. It had had problems, so they got it running. And against the advice of my family and children, I decided that we should try to get on that second ferry. The downside was there was only one motor working out of the 2. And so after fighting with my family gently, I convinced them that we'd get on that ferry. And so together with some other ginormous, huge truckloads of goods, 60-ton trucks, I don't know, these big trucks with trailers. They put a couple of those on, and we got on at the back because they could fit my car on. We started down to cross this river. I don't know, it's a mile across right there to the Botswana side. So anyhow, as you can imagine, we got halfway across the river, going very slowly because you only had one engine. All of a sudden everything stopped, and what happened is the transmission of the good engine broke. So now we had a good engine with no transmission. So we were at the mercy of the river, and we just kept floating with the current. And we spent so many good hours doing that. And as we were on the ferry, we could see the original ferry making trips back and forth, back and forth. And my family was very gracious to me to not remind me every time the other ferry went by of my poor decision made in haste. The long story short is we ended up crashing into the bank on the far side, and by God's grace and some amazing African ingenuity, they were able to drive these 60-ton lorries off onto the bank and banging over rocks and doing whatever, and we were able to get across with our car. But I think it was a good lesson in why God wants us to be patient, and sometimes patience is a good virtue. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit, by the way. But I like this verse in Proverbs. It says, "Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense." Good sense makes one slow to anger. I pray today that you'll have a lot of patience with this whole quarantine and shutdown, and I pray for patience in my life and in yours. Have a great day. Hopefully things will get better before long, and I know God is in control.